Hello everyone and welcome back to the series. Today we will see together the notion of a parent that is very important to understand when using the no-code editor. So here with the example of this email signature in my no-code editor, it is very important to understand that you're in a table. We saw together in the previous videos how we can impact the variables, but here it is important to understand that the variable is part of a cell that can be part of an even bigger cell. And each of these cells, each of these layers have different settings and different properties you can impact the template with. So in the previous videos, we got used to clicking on it. I know I'm on the variable layer because I have a badge that indicates what layer I'm on. Here it's the variable. Here it's a cell, a row, and it can go up to a table, for example. So in the previous videos, we got used to going on a variable, clicking on it, and on the right, having different settings to impact the template. But it is pretty limited because you do not have access to the spacings, you do not have access to the display logic that can be pretty powerful and very useful. If I take the example of this email signature, right now I can see the name of the variables, but if I go into preview, we can see together and spot different problems. Here I have my value that is a bit too close to my icon. That can be a problem later on. I also have the problem of that person, Marina Loiseau, didn't fill in a work phone. And because of the display logic that hasn't been used, her email signature will show a blank space and an icon that is not used by an information. So this is not presentable. We have to fix this, and we will see together how to do it. So first, the spacing. Here I'm on the variable level. If I go up to the cell level, on the right, I can see that the settings have changed, and if I explore them, here I have paddings, and this is where it can affect the settings. So if I add some here, we can see together how it impacts the result. To know more on this subject, we have an entire video right here so that you can really dive deep into it and be more comfortable with it for your future templates. We saw together the spacings. We can see together now the display logic. So here I have my work phone. I'm going to click on the variable. A good practice is always to go small into bigger so that you don't miss any of the settings. So I go on my variable level. On the right, I do not have anything mentioning display logic. So I go up, select the parent. Now I'm in the cell level. Here I have display and display conditions. It is set on always show, and I can condition the display according to a variable being present or a variable being left blank. So here I'm going to say if work phone is present, then show it, and if it's not present, it's going to be left blank. I'm going to do the same with the icon to make sure that it doesn't appear floating next to a blank value. And I'm going to also make sure that on the row level, the space that is occupied by all of these informations is going to be conditioned as well. Again, to dive deep into that subject, we have an entire video right here so that you can really be comfortable with that subject later on. So now that we have conditioned everything, we're going to switch to preview again, and we can see that everything is neat. And that way I can have one template for all of my colleagues and all the scenarios possible, making it easier to manage and very time efficient. Hopefully this clarifies the notion of a parent, and the more you use it and the more comfortable you will be with it. As usual, if you encounter any problems or if you have any questions, the email address is in the description down below, and I will see you on the next one.